What's your favorite grass?
Ooh, Bermuda.
One take wonders, let's go.
We're here today to talk about grass. Now, the grass versus turf debate has gone on for years. But today, we're going to give a little perspective with a couple veterans, such as George Kittle, some draftees, like my boy Will and Bryan, and then a sports performance specialist from Jeremy. So I wanted to kick this off and start with you, George.
Oh,
Where do you stand on this debate?
I mean, I think it's an obvious answer. You see more injuries on turf. I'm more sore when I play on turf, when you practice on turf. The recovery time is a lot longer, and it's kind of hard to have a longer recovery time when you're playing a 17-week season.
Bryan and Will. Now, you guys are on the cusp of entering the league.
Yep.
For you guys, childhood was somewhat recent compared to some of the older folks on this panel. So
That's
Will,
funny.
Thank you. Growing up, what are some of your first memories of playing on grass?
Yeah, I mean, I started playing football, like flag football, second grade, and then getting into tackle football in like fourth grade. You know, we're back behind the old high school grass field, more gravel fields, I'd say, opposed to grass. But I mean, that's what I played on.
What about you? You got any good favorite memories growing up playing on grass?
I started playing like tackle football when I was 5. My dad played football, so he kind of threw me into it early. Just going back all the way to it, just the nostalgia of just the smell of grass, you know, in the summer, you know.
So it's safe to say that never the smell of tar is it burning
rubber.
Yeah, burning rubber has never been in your memory. And then I'm assuming, George, cornfields are out of the question. You had grass in Iowa growing up.
A lot of cornfields, playing football through those. I never touched a turf field until I moved to Oklahoma. Never even really saw one. And the first injury I really ever had in football was occurring on a turf field. It's because my foot stuck and it twisted, I got hurt.
You know, when you're watching a game on TV and you see a guy have a non-contact lower body injury on turf, you're gonna subconsciously like filter that back there.
I had no teammates who mentally they're like, I never wanna touch a turf field again. Back in 2020, we had a game in the New York, New Jersey stadium, and which is the whole league has complained about. And we had like 5 injuries, 3 of them were season ending. 2 were ACLs, back-to-back plays.
And then you look at the numbers and you see that 69% of lower body, foot and ankle injuries are more susceptible to happen on turf.
How many guys have to continually get hurt before they're like, fine, we'll make it all grass?
I 1,000% agree. This is something that I really appreciate having like Pennington be a partner, someone who wants to help, can help. I mean, we know we play a sport that you're gonna get beat up. I mean, we all know what we sign up for. Some more than others.
Quarterbacks.
Good for you.
Relax.
But I mean, being in the trenches, I mean, we're in contact every play. Why add the extra bit of playing surfaces that are gonna further the injury rate or add to the injuries that are already gonna come? I'll give you an example. When you're taking on a double team, have you ever felt the ground give and your leg just slide out?
Yeah.
Use the same instance on turf.
Right.
Have you ever, that can't happen. So this is where I can throw Jeremy into this is, I'm assuming that is not conducive for a healthy and or long career. Like we already said, football is not healthy to begin with.
No, I mean, part of the issue is you guys are very strong and very explosive athletes. So anytime you put your foot in the ground, you have to absorb a certain amount of force. Well, with grass, that force is gonna give. With turf, that force is not gonna give. And that's where we see a lot of the non-contact ACL, ankle injuries.
So, Will, what is your relationship with turf versus grass?
So half my college career spent on grass, half on turf. Kentucky, we played our games on turf, but we practiced on grass. And then when we had to go inside to practice on turf, the turf that we're using indoors was different than the game turf.
So you can be up to 3 different surfaces a week, minimum.
Yeah.
And there's no way to get used to that. And then if you're on the road, hey, there's a whole nother surface that your body's not used to.
Yeah.
The 2021 season, we played like 4 games in a row on turf. Every week I just got more sore. And by the end of it, like I could hardly practice. And then this past season, I think we had 5 home games in like a month and a half. And we got really lucky, and that's 5 grass games. And I went into like week 17, the healthiest I felt all season. I've never felt better in a football season in my career.
Every turf field's so different. You can never get used to it. Changing surfaces so much does not allow you to create that muscle memory that you need for deceleration or change of direction or anything, because changing direction on grass requires a different muscle stimulus than changing direction on turf.
I learned it also is that availability is the best ability. The more I play on grass, the more I'm available and the more that I have an opportunity to play amazing games.
The game is better when the best athletes are playing. If we're trying to protect our guys and we're trying to protect our assets, why would we not spend a little bit of money to give them a better playing service?
Do you feel like there's a correlation between players in their career longevity being expanded if they were to practice and play all on grass versus turf?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think there's a short shelf life for guys to be at their peak performance level. The reality of it is, if you want to play in this game for a long time, you need to be making sure that you're taking care of your bodies, and part of that process is making sure that you're able to train on a surface that's going to be conducive to you being healthy as long as you can be.
I mean, we're not like test dummies. We are
The product.
We are league players.
There's plenty of those soccer players or football players that are like, I'm not gonna play unless it's on grass. This conversation is just the start of continuing to get more players to continue to talk about it, and hey, hopefully we can get to a part. It's like, I don't want to put my body through this turf.
What I love about this is that this is a time for us to chat, whereas before was almost like taboo to talk about. You kind of just, you knew something was wrong, but you didn't really have anywhere to go.
Like G said, the standard is the standard. And we know that soccer is worldwide. It's the biggest thing in the world. But we also know that football is king in America. And if the standard is the standard, and we know football is trying to become global with games overseas, we see what it looks like up here. So let's mimic that. And so we're sitting here at this roundtable discussion with Pennington and talking about how we can leave something better than we found it. And you look at D-Bach and you look at George and how they've revolutionized the game. So I would just say to you guys, my advice would be take that opportunity head on.
It's awesome to have dudes like these two right here who are trailblazers right now in this area and getting this conversation started. But I think it's really going to be, this next generation of players who are really going to make it happen and have to really push the envelope enough to make some changes.
I think these are things that you can take, and I hope that you do take, and not just as a grain of salt, but you push forward with your fellow rookie class. That's something that maybe when you look back, when we talk about 5 or 10 years to change the landscape, is maybe not have to bring up the turf monster anymore.